actually going to read how this daily dialogue journal transformed the author of the text I'm about to read. It might work the same way for you. It's called the Daily Dialogue Journal. There's a quote here by Nancy Meir, and she states, "I will write myself into well-being. Because I write all day long professionally and work very hard at my craft, most of my adult life I have passionately resisted keeping a personal journal. It just seemed like too much effort, and I really didn't have the time. But when I embarked on the simple abundance path, I became aware of all the conversations that I continually carry on with myself. There was rarely a quieting of my mind. Instead, I would hear, 'The cat's acting funny. Is she sick? If the Cleveland airport gets snowed in on Thursday, how would I get home? Am I ever going to get paid again? We need new slipcovers on the living room table. They're beginning to look shabby,' and so forth. I discovered that my mind will grab hold of a single thought like a pit bull terrier with a bone and not let it go until I'm exhausted or have lost interest. One day, desperate to quiet the voice in my head, I took a spiral notebook and began having a conversation with myself on paper. Everything I was worried about just spilled out in a rapid stream of consciousness. What I was doing was not so much recording the events of my life as much as eliminating the mental details that was depleting my creative energy and driving me crazy. I was then able to let go and get on with my day. This ritual became very centering and therapeutic. I have been doing a daily dialogue for several years now, and while I may sometimes skip a few days, I always look forward to checking in with my consciousness because this inner tool really works. It clears my head and calms my restless spirit. It will do the same for you. Interestingly, after a while, the pages take on a life of their own. I call this ritual the daily dialogue because you are really conversating with someone much wiser and saner as you write, your authentic self. Try writing a daily dialogue as an experiment for 21 days. That's the length of time psychologists tells us we need to perform a new behavior before it becomes habitual. Neither the time of day nor the amount you write seems to matter so much as the repetition. Stressed souls need the reassuring rhythm of self-nurturing rituals. Sometimes when I have a particularly thorny issue to resolve, I'll write 2 pages in the morning and come back to it in the evening to see if an answer is there. Very frequently there is. And until there is, at least there's relief and relief. When you start writing the daily dialogue, you will probably be shocked at how much complaining you do at the beginning. That's okay. Actually, that's a healthy reaction. You can't moan about a situation for months and not decide to do anything about it. You'll get tired of the sound of your own nagging and be inspired to get moving. Another suggestion, don't use a fancy, pretty journal as your daily dialogue. It's too intimidating because you'll want it to be perfect and profound, and that's not the point. Use a spiral notebook or loose leaf pages. Just get it down on paper, whatever's hovering on the horizons of your brain disguised as a dull headache. Alison Lurie confessed that with pencil and paper, I could have revised the world. Writing a daily dialogue is a sure way of revising yours as you search for your authenticity. I'm actually not going to go over highlights from this text because I think she made her point about writing and what it can do for you. I know personally when I write my thoughts and I see the same text being written over and over and over again and for years and years, the same story, at some point awareness has to step in and show you that the dialogue that you're having with yourself has to change. I know that writing is a very healthy activity, and maybe you should consider keeping a dialogue journal and really step outside of the box and explore the person inside of you. There is a person inside of you, a person that laughs when you cry, a person that makes you smile when you don't want to, a person that tells you to put down that cake that you just don't listen to. Get to know the person inside of you. It's a part of the self-fulfillment process. It's a part of how you see self-fulfillment within yourself. This person inside of you truly knows how to make you happy and can pinpoint your desires. So I'm going to actually end on one more reading, a very short story here on Acres of Diamonds. And there's a quote here from Russell H. Conwell, and he states, "Your diamonds are not in far distant mountains or in yonder seas. They are in your own backyard, if you but only dig for them." Few motivational talks have influenced or inspired as many people as the famous Victorian lecture that was known as Acres of Diamonds. Russell H. Conwell, a former newspaper correspondent and minister, delivered his speech more than 6,000 times between 1877 and 1925. When it was published, it became an immediate bestseller and a classic in inspirational literature. The story Conwell told in his lecture had enormous appeal. It recounted the life of a Persian farmer named Ali Hafad, who sold his farm and left his family to travel the world in search of wealth. He looked everywhere, but he couldn't find the diamonds that he lusted after. Finally, alone and in despair as a homeless beggar, he ended his own life. His search for riches had consumed him. In the meantime, the man who brought the land from Hassad was grateful for every blade of grass that was now his, and lavished in his hard work. At night, surrounded by his family and eating the fruits of his labor, he was a contented man. Finally, one day, he made a remarkable discovery. In the backyard that Ali Hafad had abandoned was a diamond mine, literally an acre of diamonds. The simple farmer became wealthy beyond his wildest dreams. Conwell used this parable to illustrate an extraordinary and wonderful message. Within each of us lies a wellspring of abundance and the seeds of opportunity. For each of us, there is a deeply personal dream awaiting to be discovered and fulfilled. When we cherish our dreams and invest love, creative energy, and passion in ourselves, we will achieve an authentic success. Where is your acre of diamonds? If you could do anything in this world, what would it be? Yes, that very thing right now that you believe is impossible. Would you open a store, nurture a family, design a dress, write a screenplay? We all have an acre of diamond waiting to be discovered, cherished, and minded. We all have a place from where to begin. Let your imagination soar, for it's the soul's blueprint for success. On the simple abundance path, you will discover that your own opportunity for personal success, authentic happiness, and financial serenity is as close as your own backyard.